I want to also thank my beautiful wife, Melania, First Lady.
And you need to defend yourself all the time. As you may heard, I file...
Sunny Hostin has always been one of the most outspoken voices on The View, but her latest controversy may have just cost her everything. For years, she has used her platform to criticize and tear down conservative figures, but this time, her words came with real consequences. After making reckless and unfounded accusations about Melania Trump on live television, Hostin now finds herself at the center of a massive legal and professional disaster. Not only has Melania hit her with yet another defamation lawsuit, but in a shocking turn of events, Hostin has also lost her law license. This marks a dramatic fall from grace for the self-proclaimed legal expert, whose career is now hanging by a thread. The controversy began during a heated segment on The View, where the panel was discussing Donald Trump's return to the White House as the 47th president. The hosts were already in full meltdown mode, throwing out every possible criticism in an attempt to discredit Trump's second term before it even began. But then, Sunny Hostin took things too far. She launched into an unhinged rant about Melania Trump, branding her a fraud, a foreign asset, and even going so far as to suggest that she didn't belong in the United States. She then doubled down, making wild...
Sunny's dumb. Certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like...
In the past 2 months, and look at the camera and do a legal apology for all the stuff that she said on the...
Baseless claims about Melania's personal finances, accusing her of money laundering and other illegal dealings, without providing a single shred of evidence. The moment the words left Hostin's mouth, Melania's legal team sprang into action. They wasted no time in filing new legal action against Hostin, citing defamation, slander, and malicious intent. The lawsuit argues that Hostin's remarks were not just personal attacks, but deliberate attempts to spread falsehoods and damage Melania's reputation. Given that Hostin had already been hit with a massive $90 million lawsuit from Melania in the past, one might think she would have learned her lesson. But instead, she chose to escalate the situation. And now, she is facing the full force of the legal system. What many people don't realize is that before she became a television personality, Hostin was a licensed attorney. She built much of her credibility on The View by using her legal background to present herself as the most informed voice at the table. She often positioned herself as the expert in law, justice, and political ethics, using her credentials to give weight to her arguments. But after repeatedly using her platform to spread false and defamatory statements, Melania's legal team took things a step further.
If you average out The View hosts, among the dumbest people on television.
I agree with mostly everything that's been said. I mean, we know that, only about 31% of Americans trust.
They filed an official complaint that resulted in Hostin being stripped of her law license, a devastating blow to someone who had built their career on their legal expertise. Losing a law license is no small matter. It is a clear statement that Hostin was found to have acted unethically, and it sends a strong warning to others in the media who believe they can say whatever they want without facing consequences. For someone who spent years lecturing Americans about morality, fairness, and legal responsibility, this is the ultimate irony. Hostin is now the very person she used to criticize, a public figure facing the consequences of her own reckless behavior. Behind the scenes at ABC, executives were reportedly blindsided by the latest lawsuit. They had already spent a fortune trying to settle Melania's previous case against Hostin, and now they found themselves in an even worse situation. Insiders claim that network executives are furious, realizing that this is no longer just a public relations problem, it is a full-scale legal disaster. There are now serious discussions about whether Hostin can remain on The View at all. Hostin herself is reportedly in full panic mode. Sources say she never expected real consequences for her words.
Information. How about removing some of the podcasts that disseminate this misinformation?
They have.
And that's
true.
They get so much hate watching viral clips of them.
As The View's co-hosts have been getting away with unchecked rhetoric for years. But with Trump back in power and Melania leading the charge for accountability, Hostin has nowhere left to hide. She has tried to remain silent, avoiding public statements on the issue, but the damage has already been done. The View, once seen as an untouchable platform for left-wing voices, is now facing its biggest crisis yet, and Hostin is at the center of it. The situation may only get worse. Legal experts are already speculating that if Melania's legal team pushes further, ABC itself could be held liable for allowing repeated defamatory statements to air unchecked. There is real talk that this could lead to The View facing fines, being forced to issue public apologies, or even facing federal scrutiny for its lack of editorial oversight. And if Hostin has lost her law license, it raises the question, could Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, and the rest of the panel face legal trouble too? After all, they have also made baseless, defamatory remarks on national television without consequences. This could be the beginning of a major shift in how media outlets operate. For years, shows like The View have been able to say whatever they want, attacking public figures without facing accountability.
The art of making idiots look smart. Now The View could ask a mirror who
opposing perspective, right? Because the concern, I mean, it's there's no argument anymore.
But now, with Melania leading the charge, the era of unchecked media slander may finally be coming to an end. If The View is found legally responsible for defamation, it could open the floodgates for other celebrities, politicians, and business leaders to start suing media figures who spread misinformation. At this point, The View isn't just a controversial talk show, it is a massive legal liability. ABC executives are being forced to confront a difficult reality. Keeping Hostin on the air could cost them millions in legal fees and settlements. And with major advertisers already pulling their sponsorships due to the controversy, the network may have no choice but to take drastic action. As for Hostin, losing her license might be the least of her worries. If Melania continues to apply legal pressure, Hostin could face financial ruin. Defamation lawsuits of this scale often result in massive settlements, and without her law career as a backup, Hostin's future is looking bleak. Meanwhile, Trump supporters and media watchdogs are celebrating this as a victory for accountability. Many argue that this is long overdue and that the mainstream media has been allowed to operate with zero oversight for far too long. For years, figures like Melania have been subjected to vicious, unfounded attacks with no recourse to fight back. But now, with this lawsuit, the power dynamics are shifting.
Television star, but does he really want to add President of the United States to his...
And it's not just conservatives who are taking notice. Even some left-leaning media figures have acknowledged that The View's behavior has crossed the line. If networks want to maintain credibility, they will have to rethink how they allow their hosts to engage in political discourse. The days of making wild, unverified claims for ratings may be coming to an end. For The View, this is an existential crisis. Can the show survive without Hostin? Will ABC cut its losses and cancel the show altogether? Or will this be the beginning of a broader movement to hold media figures accountable for their words? One thing is clear, Melania Trump has proven that she is not someone to be underestimated. She has sent a clear message, not just to Hostin, but to the entire media industry, that there will be consequences for spreading falsehoods.
Great to see you.
Good morning. Thank you. Good morning.
I guess the first thing is congratulations.
The lawsuit has not only put Hostin's career in jeopardy, but has also set a precedent that could change television forever. For now, Hostin remains silent, ABC remains in crisis mode, and The View's future remains uncertain. But one thing is undeniable. The days of unchecked media attacks are coming to an end, and Sunny Hostin is learning that lesson the hard way.